Now, the president says this branch would be separate from the Air Force, but equal in stature, and he signed a space policy directive, which aims to make it easier for commercial companies to operate in space. Other goals: to send robotic explorers to the moon as early as next year, and another human lunar landing within 10 years. Chad Anderson is the CEO of Space Angels and joined us now. He's invested millions of dollars in private capital into new commercial space ventures and attended the meeting with the president. So, Chad, what exactly would a U.S. Space Force do?
Hi, Emily. So I don't think that many people know. This announcement was not expected, and I don't think that a lot of people have details as to what exactly this would mean. Like you said, he said that it would be on par, equal to the Air Force, but I don't think we have many details on that. But what he did say today, he said a lot of things this morning, but one of the remarks was that they are 1,000% behind budding space businesses, which from our perspective was the interesting bit, and the resounding sense from the room and all of the speakers in the room about leveraging innovation from the private sector.
So the president said he'd originally coined the term Space Force as a joke, and some in the military community have been rather lukewarm on this idea in general, but is this something that the United States needs? I mean, I know that there's concern about our competitiveness in space, but in general, do we need a sixth branch of the U.S. military in space?
I think the idea here is to show the dedication and the emphasis on space. Do we need it? I don't know. The Air Force is doing a lot to manage space for the military at the moment, and they're doing an exceptional job of that. So, you know, the conversation right now, from our perspective, we're really focused on the private businesses and the new startups and the entrepreneurial ventures that are innovating in space. And so the conversation is really about the military aspects of space versus the private interests in space, and how does that fall. And so putting a lot of emphasis on the military side of things definitely shifts the balance a little bit in that direction. But it was good to hear, again, the resounding, sort of wave of support for private ventures throughout the rest of the meeting.
So one of the concerns is space traffic control and the clutter and debris in space collisions. Talk to us about how big a problem that is.
Well, it's a growing concern. It's not much of an issue now. It's more about thinking about how far we've come in the last number of years. We've gone from satellite operators having a satellite or two, maybe a dozen on the larger end, to now companies like Planet having hundreds of satellites in orbit at the same time. And we've done that over a relatively short period of time. And looking forward, we have mega constellations like OneWeb. SpaceX is planning to launch 4,000 plus. So we have tens of thousands of satellites that are being, that are in the works, that are being planned to start launching in the next few years. And so the idea is thinking about it, getting ahead of the issue, recognizing that there's a lot of debris, and figuring out a way to keep our highways, so to speak, in space clear and safe to operate commercially.
Now, I know you're excited about the president's broad support of space initiatives. Sending people and robots to the moon, should that be one of the top priorities?
That was a key talking point throughout really the entire Space Council meeting today. And there was astronauts and industry and scientists and professors, people from all walks really talking about this issue. And the long-term goal is to get humans to Mars. The conversation was really about, is the moon the best way to do that? And I think that was the general consensus of the room. Jim Bridenstine is the new NASA administrator, and this was his first Space Council meeting. And that was a key message that he was looking to get across, was that using robots and human exploration on the moon is a key stepping stone to getting to Mars. And we heard from a few different astronauts speaking about exactly that, how the exploration program today should mirror the exploration program of Apollo that started with Mercury and Gemini. and culminated in Apollo, and thinking about how we've had the ISS, and this is a way for us to demonstrate that we can live and work in space for long periods of time. Now getting down to the lunar surface is a great way to test the technology that we will need for Mars on a different surface, and then the Mars mission being the ultimate sort of today's Apollo.
So quickly, Chad, what do you imagine Elon Musk is thinking right now?
Well, they were represented in the room, and I think that they were probably pretty happy to hear, again, the resounding support, the interest from the government at all levels, the interest from the Commerce Department and their increasing role here. I mean, the business of space is really top of mind.
Chad Anderson, CEO of Space Angels, back from that meeting with President Trump. Thank you so much. And that does it for this edition of Bloomberg Technology. We will be back tomorrow.